Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jen Madron, and today we're going to talk more about egoic death, what the phrase means, and some of the misconceptions about it that come up a lot because it really is a confusing term and it means different things to different people. So in a previous video, I explained some of the roots of the term egoic death, where it came from, and also what it means for us in the spiritual awakening process. And so instead of repeating myself on that, I will just post the link for that video in the comment section when I'm done, so you can check that out if you haven't seen it yet. So that'll help explain some of these things that I'm talking about today. A lot of times I hear people talking about egoic death and saying, well, why should we kill the ego? It's a part of us. Is it an act of, self-hatred to try to kill the ego because we need our ego? And then I hear, sometimes it makes me cringe when I hear certain teachers talking about self-love and how we just need to love the ego and we need to love every part of us. And when they do this without addressing the out of balance ego, it really makes me a little worried because I feel like they're giving people permission to act like assholes and to act out on the fear and the anger and the jealousy that their out of balance ego is feeding them. And so I think it's important to address the idea of what an out of balance ego is and understand that when we go through the egoic death process, it's a process of putting the ego in its proper place as our servant. And I really equate the ego with the mind in the fact that they are both tools, very important, powerful tools for us as humans, but that we have given them way too much power to the endless dialogue of the mind and to the ego, because really they're one and the same in a lot of ways. And so we have to look at that and look at how we've given it too much power, look at the way that the ego controls our life, and then look at what its purpose serves. So the ego and the mind are important because they tell us things like, hey, it's 3 o'clock, you're a mom, you need to go pick your kids up from school. And you go, oh shit, right, it's 3 o'clock, I gotta go pick up my kids. Like, this is an important function of the mind and the ego because it's reminding us who we are and what we need to do in this human lifetime. And so in that case, we have to say, thank you, you did a great job. But when the ego and the mind is saying, hey, that guy's such an asshole and you should really be pissed off at him, and, you should feel sorry for yourself because you didn't get the raise that you wanted at work, or why did you screw that up? Like, you're no good. All of that stuff is an out of balance ego. All of that stuff does not come from the heart, it comes from the mind. And it is really destructive to us, really, really destructive. So that is why I think that moving through the process of egoic death consciously is actually the most loving thing that you can do for yourself, because the out of balance ego is very destructive to us. And what we need to do is return the power to a trifle owner, which is our authentic self that lives in the heart. And I know I've described this before, but the magnetic field of the heart is gigantic. It takes over the whole field of the body. I forget how many times larger than the magnetic field of the mind, but the heart is our boss. It's our king or our queen. And returning the power to the heart and to the authentic self is the most loving thing we can do. it's the best act of self-love that we can perform. Because the out of balance ego it's not really us. It's not us. It's an illusion. It's something that was created from the pain of separation from our true selves. And so as we allow the ego to be absorbed by the authentic self and take its rightful place as a tool and the servant, then we come into balance with ourselves. We become into a place where we are more heart-centered humans, and we are able, maybe for the first time in our lives, to start loving ourselves. And so I think that it is so important to love ourselves, but to love ourselves from the place of the heart and not from the place of the mind. And so that's why I think supporting the process of egoic death is really important. And remembering that egoic death is part of the awakening process. I don't promote people to seek out your ego and kill it. But it's something that starts to happen naturally as we become more conscious human beings and more aware of our thoughts and our behaviors. And so that pattern starts to become really obvious. We see the destruction of it, and we start to want to shift that power construct. And it can be really challenging, very, very challenging to shift that power construct and to change the patterns of the mind. But as we do, we begin to just become more comfortable in our own skin and our own bodies, and comfortable with the world around us, and able to just really be that authentic self that we're meant to be. So if you're in the midst of this power struggle and you're really ready to switch it and to reclaim the power of the authentic self, and really look at this process and how you can move through it gracefully and quickly, then please private message me and we can talk and see if we're a good fit to work together. And if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comment section or on the Facebook group. And just remember to love the shit out of yourself. All right, have a beautiful night, and I will see you in the Facebook group.